off with a good old rock, paper, scissors. Ready?
Do we go on shoot or do we go on 3?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I win. Okay. This is going to be a great interview. All right. Today we are joined by Trey Hesselschwart. Did I say that right?
Pretty close.
Close enough.
We'll count it.
Trey has been with OBIC and ART for a little over 11 years. 11 years and 16 days, to be exact. Correct. Before his time at ART, Trey was a medic for the Army for about 7 years.
Yep.
I want to start off by thanking you for your service. Thank you for that time, helping out those people in our country.
My honor. So, I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. So Trey is the director of corporate training is his exact title, but Trey wears many hats around the company as far as training and also safety. So I refer to him as the safety guy. Trey has aptly nicknamed me TMG, the marketing guy. So we just trade that back and forth here.
That was just because I couldn't remember your name, though.
I'm still pretty new, so that's okay. So we are at WEFTech. This is our very last day here. It's been a great show. We've seen a lot of really good people, a lot of great customers, a lot of booth traffic this year. Brand new booth. You can see it behind us, a little bit of it. Trey, how many times have you been to a WEFTech show?
This is my very first WEFTech show.
First WEFTech show. Welcome. How's it been for you so far?
Oh, it's been great. It's comparable to some of the other ones I had, but then at the same time, it's really not. This is nonstop, getting to rub elbows, network, getting to get the OBIC name out there. I've had an excellent time down here, honestly. It's been fun. Yeah.
So one thing that, I've noticed, I've been to a lot of trade shows, and as far as technical aspects, you kind of bridge the gap between the personality, the being personable with people, and also having a lot of knowledge about the product and applications and everything. So I just want to start off by, asking you, when you started with ART, what was the position that you held? How did you find out about advanced rehabilitation technology? And, how did you get your foot in the door with that company?
So starting from the very beginning, I was back in 2013 is when it was. I was getting ready to transition out of the military. And actually, my father was actually working for ART at that point, Rusty. Mm-hmm. So I was looking over the summer, I had a couple different options people were asking for. And I knew my out date, what the Army was. I knew I was leaving in the beginning of September. So I did some interviews. I got a hold of Dustin. Dustin said, "Let's come in, let's talk about it." And he said, "Oh, I think we'll have an opening." I interviewed, I believe, the beginning of July is when we did that. And about mid-August, I haven't heard anything back. So I was like, "Hey, are you going to have a job when I get there or not?" And he's like, "Yes, we'll have a new truck ready." So I went, started in the end of September in 2013, and I was entry level. Very, very basic entry level. I was driving the pickup truck around for everybody with the heater inside of it. I was pressure washing the manholes. I was grinding the rings. I was doing the dirty work that every new guy gets to do most of the time. So I worked my way up through that one, did that for about a year before I took my next step and started leading the crew. Lots of trigger time, spraying manholes. And this was back when we only had one shop. We were based out of Bryan. We didn't have any second shop in Cumberland or LaVale like we do at this point. So I would do a lot of traveling. I did a lot of PA, a lot of Michigan, a lot of Delaware. I didn't do as much Ohio as what you would think, even though we're right there.
Yeah.
I like to go to those states. I like to see the world. So that's where I started with that one.
Yeah, so as far as what you were doing in the very beginning, it was stuff that all of our applicators start off doing. And I don't know, over the years, how many manholes do you think you've lined?
The personal, just lining part of it, I would say probably 2,000 to 3,000 of actually pulling the trigger on top of it.
Yeah.
Manholes I've been in for different other reasons. I bet I'm over 10,000 without even thinking about it. But
yeah,
a lot of prepping that way, and a lot of inspections in the last 5 years or so since I moved to the newer transitioned to the newer position I'm at.
Yeah. So, what, for my knowledge and maybe other people's knowledge, what do you normally see in a manhole that would need rehab, or what these products are actually used for? What does that look like? What is causing those issues? Can you explain a little bit about what that looks like?
I can give you a broad overview. So it's a little bit different. Every manhole has its own individual problems.
Okay.
One of the most common ones that they bring us in for is just infiltration, water leaking in. Every time water comes into the system, it goes to the wastewater treatment plant, has to be paid for to get treated. Well, nobody wants to pay to treat that groundwater. So the biggest thing is that, especially in old brick joints, the bricks are good, solid fired bricks, so they're nice and hard, but the mortar between them is not heat treated the same way. So a lot of that mortar will wash out and nothing but leaks inside those. So a lot of leaks inside that one. Then when you get the precast ones, they're one solid piece besides the joints. Joints would end up having leaks, or when they set them in, there was a contractor that might have hit something on the way down and they have cracks and leaks through there.
Gotcha.
In addition to that, when you get to the precast and the concrete ones like that, H2S does a really hard number on the concrete, either the mortar or the precast. H2S is the sewer gases coming off of the decomposing matter flowing through the channel at the bottom down there. So a lot of that, it would start to eat away at the wall and degrade the structure. So that was the biggest things that we'd run into there. And some of them were just dirty, nasty from sitting on the road and everything washing down from the top. So those are honestly what we're looking for when we're washing. Though they don't have to look like that for us to do the rehab, but the ones that are in need, those are the ones that are in need. We also do preventative linings too on manholes that look good right now, but we want to keep them looking good.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I'm seeing a lot more of now are actually lining brand new manholes.
Yes.
Now, what do you say the lifespan of a new manhole would be with our liner and then without our liner?
So when we're looking at a new manhole, it all depends on where it goes inside the ground. I'm not the construction side of that side, but what I'm hearing out there in the industry is you're looking probably to get 25 to 40 or so years out of a normal manhole before you have to do something to it. That's not the entire lifespan, but that's before you have to upgrade it. When you put one of our liner systems inside the manholes, our design life is 50 to 100 years. So what we're trying to do is kick that at least one generation, if not two generations down the line before we have to do it. I'd like to say I think we're going to last a whole lot longer than that. Yeah. That's a lot of wishful thinking at that point. I think there's a good chance we're going to last longer than that, but we don't know. We've not been doing this for 100 years at this point.
Yeah, it'll be fun to look back and say, you know, we did this 100 years ago. Here's one of the very first ones. So I've learned a little bit at the show about what different layer systems that we have. You're really knowledgeable about this 3-layer system that we use. So tell me a little bit about what that 3-layer system is and why it's important and what type of applications it can be used in, because I haven't seen that just in a manhole.
So 3-layer system has a big full name for it. It's the OBIC armor system. So that's the one that we're peddling out there most of the time. That's the one we want to talk about. Many options out there to do, but that's the one we like. It's a 3-layer. The first layer is about 50 mils of the OBIC 1000 polyurea first, followed by about 400 mils of the 1306 polyurethane, which works as a resurfacing layer. And then the final layer is another 50 mils of that OBIC 1000 polyurea. The first layer that we put to the wall with the polyurea is the adhesion layer, and then the final layer is the barrier layer. The barrier layer protects it from the H2S gas getting to the substrate, protects the I&I. It has the ability to flex and move, so it's not going to be able to fall off the wall. And it's the 3-layer system as itself has been tested through the severe wastewater analysis testing, which means it's gone through conditions that are much harsher than what's in a real sewer. They try to simulate it with heat and different concentrations of the gases and stuff inside there. It's gone through that and it performs with flying colors, flying orange colors.
Flying orange colors. Yes. And are those layers different thicknesses? Like you said that there's an adhesion layer, and then the final coat layer of the polyurea. Are those layers different thicknesses when you're spraying them, or?
There's slightly variations, but no, when you're coming to spec, no, we're looking for 50 mil on the first layer, 50 mil on the final layer, with that polyurethane foam in the middle being 400 mils. So it puts us at a total of 500 mils, and 500 mils is a half an inch. That's what we're looking for on it. Every hole will be a little bit different. That 500 mils is what we're looking and what we're seeing put on a normal precast manhole with a smooth substrate. But if you get one of those bricks that are rough and you have to kind of fill in the gaps, or if you get a precast that's had a lot of H2S break it down, then we use the resurfacing layer to help kind of build it back. That high density of that 6 to 8 pound foam we put inside there helps put some more structural integrity back into the original structure that's in the ground right there. So it'll end up a little bit thicker in those places. We don't go crazy thick or anything like that. We still try to keep it below an inch at all time, but there's times it'll vary between that 400 mils and 900 mils inside there. So.
Okay. I heard you talk to somebody a little bit earlier about epoxy coatings. Obviously, there's a lot of different coating companies, different types of material that you can coat with. You had mentioned the epoxy coating has a place in the market.
Yes.
So there are places for polyurea that is going to work best. There's places where epoxy would work good. So can you tell a little bit about that? What you told that customer when they stopped by you?
So they were asking one of the big differences between it, and I was just telling them I like to talk about the flexibility that they have on ours. So our polyurea has a 400% elongation inside of it. So when we're putting that inside structures, I like to talk about the fact that concrete is a living, breathing structure. Manholes that are brick with concrete mortar between them, those are living, breathing structures. They're going to move. The vibrations from the roads, vibrations from train tracks being closed, foot traffic even sometimes. You get into some places with earthquakes, or the freeze-thaw cycle when you get up towards the north. The ground's going to move and contract as it freezes and thaws, freezes and thaws. So that's where we talk about our elongation. We like that part of the market. We like the fact that we can offer that to them. Where we put it all the way up from the bottom of the casting down to the flow line, we're going to put one monolithic lining system there. It's going to be able to flex and move. It's going to be a high quality product. It's going to take care of the system. I'm a little biased, but you know that I like what we got. I like the way we can present our product to the customer as well, though. So
yeah, that's great. So I don't want to take up much more time here at the booth. We, as you guys know, trade shows come in waves. So we found a little lull right here to have a conversation, but probably going to pick up here a little bit. And Trey and I are going to hang out here in the booth for a while, and then we get the pleasure of doing tear down. So we're going to get that done today. So Trey, thank you so much for...
Appreciate you sitting with me, but
yeah.
I don't always agree with you. It's not going to be a lot of pleasure in this tear down.
No, it's not.
We're going to have some fun with that.
It's not. And you guys are going to see a lot more of Trey. We're going to get into some demonstrations and, breaking things, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lucky for Trey, he sits pretty close to me in the office, so I get to call him over whenever I get a great idea. I might not be great, but an idea. And we're going to test it out. So
hillbilly experiments. That's what we've always called it.
Absolutely.
We'll figure it out, so.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Trey. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you. Have a good show.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on the metal, so it's pushing you for.
Technical difficulties.
You falling mid-interview would be great. Do something I would do, though.
Oh, no, it's too short. I'm glad this is all on camera.
Good thing you hit record a minute ago.
We're going to try to keep this under 5 minutes.